for 20 long years. I smoked lots of reefer and drank lots of beer. Every day 420, gonna settle the score. And for 20 long years, it's been 20 past 4. Hi, welcome to 420 Live. I'm your host, Jeff Kravitz. Welcome to show number 198. Can you believe it? You guys, some of you have been here the entire time, over 200 hours of listening to me babble like an idiot into the camera. Depends on which day I'm acting like an idiot. But, I have something queued up here I want you guys to see. It's an oldie but a goodie. Hold on, let's see. StreamYard, Chrome tab, Facebook, share audio. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that smile. Let's hear what this guy has to say here. Yes, we're locked down at my house. I don't know how to keep resetting the clock, but, we're generally healthy. I feel generally healthy. I hope you all feel generally healthy. It's important to stay healthy and to be on top of it. I think that there's a lot of hysteria going on right now. I think that I would like some kind of leadership. I mean, I have to give it to the governors because they all seem to be stepping up, but it's kind of depressing to just sit there and be lied to day after day about tests, and every other country's testing tens of thousands of people, and we can't even test 10,000 people. That's kind of... There you go. Back in the day, I was on this. This is March 16th, what you're seeing there. That is my first show. The first time I went live, right over there on that desk I was sitting, facing... You guys were looking at that wall, completely different direction, completely different time. I was going live about 3:50 in the afternoon, getting ready for all you guys to come in and join me and hang out. And we did it. Basically, it was a place for me to get high with you all and to hang out and to commiserate about the situation we were going into. And going back and watching a couple of these early shows, I haven't much changed my rap about what's happened and what's going on. If you heard that rap right there, it's about the lack of leadership. That is in March 16th. I'm complaining about the lack of leadership when it came to the pandemic. And here we are 10 months later. We are 10 months practically to the day. It's January 12th today. So on March 13th, we are 2 months away from a full year, 8 weeks away from a year in lockdown. And where are we? We're all the states. The deaths are at an all-time high. We're pulling our hair out. Finally, the vaccines are rolling out, but they're not rolling them out in an expedient way. They had better success rolling out smallpox in 1947 than they have with this disease. You call us a modern age, but we obviously have gone backwards. Making America great again consisted of sending us back into the hole. So let me go back in here, and I'm just going to pick one show after another today and go back. Let's see, on this show, what's my recommendation here? That 316. So let me bring the timer up here to 316. Hold on, I got a text. Oh, hold on. I have a pickup. I have a cannabis delivery at the house. So got to tell the kids, get out there, go pick up Daddy's bud, will you please? All right, here we go. This is from my second show on the 17th. Captive audience, honey. Nobody can really go anywhere. Hey, Chad. Scoots. No one can go anywhere. So I'm going to create a place for people to come for like a couple minutes every day to sit there and catch up on the highlights. Now, I've been up in the canyon for the past hour, so I don't know what happened in the hour I went away, but that's kind of indicative of where we are in our life, that things change so fast. You turn off the TV for an hour and you come back on, you feel like Jared Leto coming out of like a meditation camp or something. You're like, oh shit, there's a virus? People, I can't go out. I have to stay home. Hey, Jared, how's Vegas? So I have to stay home.
Can you tell I was frustrated even way back when? Let's see. We're going to roll right on to the 18th. On the 18th, 49 minutes in, it says here on my notes. Let's go 49 minutes in. Oh, wait. 18th? Oh, no, that's the 19th. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here. 18th. 49 minutes in. And, you know, back in those days, I was doing the show both on the cell phone and on the on the Instagram and on Facebook at the same time. I've since kind of kiboshed that.
Checking in. Yeah, it's nuts. I heard we're not going to be working until September, too. So kids are going to be out of school already now. I can't imagine. I mean, we're really going to test each other's patience at the house. I mean, there's no way you're going to be around people that you're not around because you're working, have all these other projects and distractions coming in, and now everybody's around us in each other's face saying, "What we going to eat? We got enough toilet paper? Did you see that thing? Guess what just happened? Holy shit, this guy's got it. That guy's got it." That's a whole conversation.
Only gotten worse since then. Also, it's not like it's gotten better. The conversation, what's happening in our house is okay. This is saying 7 minutes and 29 seconds. I went and made some fast notes here. This is on the 19th. I'm basically showing you my first week before I even had guests. My first guest didn't happen until show 7. And that was my friend Briar Lindsay. There we go. Briar Lyons.
Small children have been alerted by a couple of my followers and watchers that I was the first person they ever saw rip a bong on ever anywhere. And then had to have a conversation with the 12-year-old about what that was. And then the kid's like, I want to do that. So I don't want to influence any use of the world. I've already done a fine enough job of my own.
So basically what happened in the early days of doing the show, I would just pick up the bong and do it rip at 4:20. I'd start the show at 4:10. By 4:20, I'd have a hit with everybody. And, that was my first week. And within like the second or third show, I got a text from a friend of mine who said, "Hey, by the way, it was interesting to my 13-year-old. You were the first person he saw get high with a bong." And I had to explain to him what it was. And now he wants to try it too. So I had to put out a disclaimer in the early days about, hey, be careful watching the show because your kids might witness something that's not exactly age appropriate. And then you have to explain to them why you're watching some guy get high and like what he's doing with the bong. And personally, I didn't mind. I found it hilarious. But and then, this show started as a tribute to kind of Bud, and it was like kind of a place for everybody to hang out, for me to communicate with everybody, since I communicate with my images all the time on my Instagram and with my Facebook and get my opinions out. I figured I'd take a page out of Pinky's handbook. My dad, Pinky Kravitz, talk show host for almost 60 years in Atlantic City, New Jersey, that I would take a page out of my dad's handbook, go back into my bloodline and start doing the thing that my father always did, which was talk to everybody in times of emergency, especially, or if anything was happening, if there was a big fire or something happening in Atlantic City, hurricanes, floods, Pinky would be the first one out there reporting to everybody, telling everybody what was going on. So I felt it was kind of my duty to come in and create this space here where we could talk about what was happening and go through it day by day and live it kind of together. And that's where we are. We're here together, sharing these moments. So as a weed show, my big day was 420. And for that show, I wanted to start as a pot party. I basically was ready to just start this crazy weed party. And at the end of the show, this week was the week that somebody challenged me to get Tommy Chong on the show. And I ended up getting Tommy on for one of my first amazing interviews was with Tommy Chong. And he's so absolutely incredible. And let's see, that was, does it say 420, 57 minutes in? That I ended up after Tommy thinking about other cannabis celebrities to have, and who I came up with was our boy Afro Man. And Afro Man joined us for a little sesh on 420. That was our smoke out. We had Leon on the show, my friend Leon Robinson on the show that day. And then we had Afro Man.
This is like a
Space age contraption. But I'm gonna have a little talk with you.
Whoa.
Cheers. Happy 420.
Happy 420, brother.
Oh yeah. And then this is the other thing we got going on here today. The brownies. These aren't medicated. They're just to eat when you. Me with the most amazing. You could see the affable. Yeah, I like the cooling effect. I like the cooling effect. Are you a spleef man? Is that your thing? Interviewing Afro Man definitely took a challenge. It was a challenge, but he was a great guy and he was really nice and fun to talk to. And this has been an amazing opportunity to talk to people and hit people up that I always wanted to have a chat with. And my first major interview was with Stuart Copeland, and I have a clip. I have a clip here. If you notice, all my clips are off my Facebook page because all these shows live on my Facebook. Let's see. Stuart will be Yeah, that's in the first 2 minutes, I think, right? There.
On half from each other in a beautiful section of Los Angeles.
Yeah, going together via outer space.
Yes. We have to go up to a satellite to come together from a couple miles away.
I could probably a water bomb from the back of my garden.
So, I missed the whole part about your dad being a CIA agent. And I find it very interesting. One of the quotes I saw was he said that we weren't doing enough assassinating and
my father would like to make a dinner party a better dinner party.
That's some conversation right there, I'm sure.
He did say he was very careful to make it clear that he would never assassinate anybody with whom he would mix socially.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. That must have been a hell of a way to grow up. When did you find out that what his job was?
Well, long after he retired, which was in my early years, and he carried on doing the same job only for American oil companies rather than for Uncle Sam.
Right.
All these guys do.
Well, Stuart Copeland was the guy who really unleashed my passion for this. I'm going to blame Stuart because when I got finished that interview and I left here, I was high as a kite, and not because I was smoking, but just because he was just an incredible interview. He just has so much information in his head, and watching him give up all these facts and fun things he collected over the years and just connecting with him was just absolutely incredible. And it showed me kind of like there's something to this, the conversation, having people watch, two people talk. I mean, obviously it's been going on for years. My dad put me through college with it, and his was on the radio, so you didn't really see anybody. Fortunately, I have a great face for radio, not so much for webcasting, but we come to you every day, 4:20 p.m. At least we did back then. We were going 7 days a week, and I did that for the first 7 weeks, almost 2 months of creating content. I did 49 shows in 7 weeks. It was kind of overwhelming without taking a break. And it was right in the middle of, as the pandemic started, or the beginning of the pandemic, not in the middle of, the beginning of the pandemic, when it all started. This was my defense mechanism, so to speak, something to put up between me and the pandemic, and a way to include everybody into the madness that I was going through, and we were all going through at the same time. So we could kind of feel like we were going through this together. I honestly thought it was going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month at the longest that we'd be in this situation. I'm sure a lot of people out there considered the same thing, that it wasn't going to be the kind of thing that took 10 months for us to get control of. But obviously we have a lot of opinions out there in America. We could see what's going on now. It's obvious that the lunatics are trying to run the asylum and trying to keep the intelligence out. It's like they don't want things to progress and grow. It's like they want to kind of keep everything in this cesspool that we're in right now. Stuart Copeland, what a flippin' champ that guy is. Let's see, where are we now? 20th. Oh, yes. And then on my birthday this year, well, we had Jeff Ross was another early guest within my first 3 or 4 weeks of going on. And then for my birthday this year, he called me up on the, he was on his, he does these Insta roasts on his Instagram channel. Insta roast on Instagram, the Insta roast. And you know, my son Zach has been like, I got a line for Jeff Ross. If I ever get a hold of him, I'm gonna tell him how it is. So here's how it went for Zach on my birthday, and also for me. This is pretty hilarious. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Activate this.
Hey, Jeffrey Ross.
Happy birthday, buddy.
How you doing? Thank you very much.
If you guys don't know Jeff Kravitz, he's one of the top concert photographers in the world and an all-around good guy. And he kind of looks like a potato. He's quarantining with some hostages right now, and
Here, I have some victims for you.
oh my God, holy shit! I'm not even gay. I'd fuck this guy.
It's crazy because you look like you belong in a cafe in West Hollywood.
Oh, I wish I was there right now.
This is Zach. This is my son. Can you believe it?
This is your son? Dude, let me just tell you something. If he hasn't told you yet, you're adopted.
I know.
You look like a Lannister, and he looks like he's protecting the wall.
You look like Hodor.
Yeah, Hodor. All right, well, good luck, Val Kilmer Jr. Good one, Kai. Kravitz, happy birthday. Love you, bud.
Thanks.
Oh, my God. Too much fun.
Come on. That's the best birthday present ever. He said, Zach looks like, that was my son, Zach. Zach looks like a Lannister, and you look like you should be guarding the wall. I mean, come on. Thank you, Jeff Ross. Another early supporter of the show. Jeff Ross, Pauly Shore, Tommy Chong. I mean, my lists of guests, and I do have a list, actually, I could start rattling off here because I have a lot of people to thank for coming on the show and a lot of people to thank for not coming on the show, too. Let's see. Jen Hartswick, Jeff Coffin, Jared Poland, Frodo's Photo, Kunj Shah from Live for Live Music, our friend Jared Slomoff, producer extraordinaire from up there in Burlington, works with all the greats. Marcus Rezak, my friend Marcus. We went down to the Virgin Islands with Marcus. Ben Davis, the singer, songwriter. Jesse Stanley from the Stanley Brothers, the CBD, the Charlotte's Web guys. Karina Reichman, our friend Karina, amazing bass player. Nikki Gillespie, Nick Casarino, that's the nth power right there. Dean Budnick, our friend Dean from Relics, and Mike Greenhouse also from Relics, and working with Shaps, Pete Shapiro on the Fans Only site. Nick Perry, great guitarist. DJ Williams, another great guitarist. And my photographer friends, Danny Clinch and Kevin Mazer and Jeffrey Mayer and Steve Granitz and Dave Hogan and all of these amazing guys that I worked with over the years. Dave Margulies, our good friend Dave Margulies, Annie Bayless and Mary Welch, the Humphreys wives that are doing great things with their 100 Days for Positive Change, which I had to restart today, by the way. I'm back to day one. Jim Pollock, the amazing artist, Aaron Magner, Mark Brownstein, and Barber from the Disco Biscuits were on the show. Dave Drewitz from our friend from J-Rad and Ween and a million different things. Dave Drewitz, amazing guy. Nako and the Medicine Men, great interview also. He's had some issues. A lot of people have had issues with getting it a little bit Me Too'd here and there. But, this is all, hopefully people are going to learn and grow from this experience. And it'll affect their music. Legume. So we had that in my backyard. We did a backyard jam. That was the first band we had in the backyard. Tessa Gordon was my youngest, one of my youngest guests. and their mom, Sue Gordon, on the show. Ashley Capps, the AC Entertainment down there in Nashville, Knoxville, right? And one of the creators of Bonnaroo Music Festival, Dan Berkowitz, our good friend Dan, Annabelle Lukens, Shaggy from makes all the delicious crawfish for us. The guys from Turquoise were here. DJ Logic was here. Ben Spivak, my friend from Magic. Carl Denson was here. Jamu Green. Director Martin Shore was here with Cody Dickinson from North Mississippi All-Stars. Rob Bleetstein, the Rob. Adrian Young from No Doubt. Our friends RJB and, of course, Tom Marshall, our parent company, Osiris Media, who is one of our biggest supporters and has always been there for us since the beginning of May, actually. After 6 weeks on the air, we went into business with Osiris. And, then I got a microphone and a real camera, and I put some lights. I did the lighting so we were presentable. So I was looking good. Photography is about cameras and lighting. And I started this show with a laptop and a lamp. So I wasn't really thinking, yeah, you have to have production value. That's what it's all about, right? Lawrence Longo from Off the Menu and his partner, Jack Latner, my good friend Jack, was on the show. Graham Farrar, we went up to Glass House. Do you remember that? We went up to Glass House. They had the Field of Green. They had all the weed behind us as we were doing the show, which was absolutely incredible to be in a space with all that delicious bud growing and just be inhaling that as we're doing it. Missy Beaver right now from Misfit LA. I'm actually doing the kettlebell workout. That's my positive change for 100 days. So hopefully you see me beefing up there in another 4 weeks or so when I get through the first 30 days. I just got to get past the first 2 or 3 days in a row first. Andy Frasco, our buddy from Spafford, Brian from Spafford, Justin Kreutzmann, the director, son of Bill Kreutzmann, Brad Melschenker, our friends from 710 Labs. You always hear me talking about 710 Labs, smoking their delicious fruity vape pens here. Our friends from Dramarama, comedian Kate Quigley. We had Dom and Jeremy from Big Gigantic, Mickey Avalon, actor Max Caulfield, Jerry Harrison from the Talking Heads, the guys from Portugal the Man. We had Zach and Jason Seacrest here. Amazing. The guys from Galactic. We've had Rob Mercurio. We've had Stanton on. I had Rob on. I've had Ben Ellman's the only one. I'm still after Ben Ellman. TJ Ott. TJ's from Wicked Tuna. TJ was also on the show. Vanessa Marigold. She does amazing things with cooking with weed. If you ever want to learn about that, she was a great guest. Also, that was a part of our 420 week celebration. Armando Gallo, another amazing photographer, worked with Genesis back in the day, and Peter Gabriel, and all these. He's Queen. I mean, he was there when it was all happening. That it was absolutely incredible. Where am I on this list here? Justin Henry, the actor, Kramer versus Kramer. Justin's done an amazing thing. My friend Rose Ordilli, the animal trainer. David Lemieux, the archivist for The Grateful Dead. The archivist from Phish has turned us down no less than 6 times. And yes, I'm talking about you, Kevin Shapiro. Josh Goodwin. I spent New Year's with Josh Goodwin and Buffy. We had a great time. Brad Sands, AJ Sour Diesel, Joe Murray was on the show. Joel, Chris, Ryan, Brendan, and Jake from Humphreys have been on the show. Dan Canner, my good friend Dan, Allison Kay, talked about Stuart Copeland, Chris Carota, also on the show. He was on the show with TJ. David Shaw from The Revivalists on the show twice. Briar Lyons, she was my first guest. Hillary Gleason from Backline, John Scott, who discovered Tom Petty, Jeff Ross, the comedian, Pauly Shore, Don Strasberg, and Jeff Gordon for my early show where we brought on AEG and Live Nation together talking about what was going to happen with music. And they were just as clueless then as they probably are now. I mean, everybody's trying to figure it out. I don't want to say Jeff and Don are clueless. They're 2 of the smartest guys in the business. And if anybody's going to figure it out, it's them. Elise McRoberts, our friendly female cannabis purveyor, Jen Bernstein, Shirley Halprin, and Steve Bloom, who wrote the book Pot Culture. Tommy Chong, again, has been on the show 2 times, and he's one of the most amazing, warm human beings I've ever met. And one of the things that happened is all the pivoting on this pandemic has kind of, I have new friends, and it's one of the hardest things to do during this pandemic is to make friends. But Tommy Chong and I are now, we walk around holding hands down the street. It's beautiful. Mark Chaldone, our chemist. Mark Chaldone has been a huge supporter since day one. I was watching my shows. He was commenting all the way back on my first shows. So Dan Matthews from PETA. Dan's been on the show a couple times. Huge PETA supporters. As you know, I stopped eating meat more for my health, but I understand now as I've stopped the carnage that's involved in being a meat eater. So it's a good idea if we all wipe the meat off our plates a couple times a week, and start looking for different things to have on our diet. Our friend Boyfriend, one of our favorite, the cabaret rapper down in New Orleans, I miss Boyfriend so much. We usually have seen each other every month or two, either in LA or down there. New Orleans, hopefully in the fall, we're all going to be in New Orleans for a couple of weeks. So keep your fingers crossed that that's all going to happen. Pete Shapiro, we all know Pete Shapiro. He's a legend from our scene, and he's been a huge supporter since day one. George Porter Jr., another amazing, amazing interview. Ivan Neville. Ivan was also on the show, as I see everybody chirping in here, with Anders Osborne and that show we were talking about sobriety, and with our friend Annabelle Lukens, who came in and was her 20th anniversary, 2 decades of being sober. And she wanted to talk to the guys and bring them on and just alert everybody to what it's like. A very, very deep show and very meaningful. You haven't seen all these shows are available on YouTube and on Instagram. And yes, I stopped eating meat except for the little pepperonis from Prince Street Pizza. Yes. My only cheat in the past 4 months has been I like 3 pieces of Prince Street pizzas with the little pepperonis on them. I just don't, it was more for inflammation that I stopped with the meat than it was for, I'm going to do this for the animals. But you know what? It's been a whole eye-opening experience. First of all, how you can survive on all kinds of things, not just meat. I was like, oh, there has to be meat on the plate at all times. And now I'm like, who needs it? And I am enjoying the fake meat. The sausage are really good. The burgers are good. So, all right, where was I here? Where was I in my list here? Ivan Neville, yes, Ben Jaffe, Prez Hall, our good friend Ben Jaffe, Deanna Cohen from the Plastics Pollution Coalition and Chad Nelson. They were both guests of mine on Earth Day. Chad works for Surfrider Foundation, done an amazing job out there helping keep our oceans clean. My friend Rob Steinberg from New Orleans, actor extraordinaire. Rob, shout out, had just lost his dad last week. So our thoughts and prayers out to the Steinberg family as they mourn David Steinberg, an amazing entertainment attorney that worked with some of your favorite musical acts over the years from out there on the main line, right? Chewy Smith, our good friend from Also Organics, again, when we were doing our CBD conversation. Tom Thayer from DBA, Whistle Monster, Dave Silverman, worked on the Simpsons. Travis Laurendine, our friend down there in NOLA. Rohan and Nico Marley, the Marley family. We had them on. Yes, I did mention all the Disco Biscuits. I had Brownie and Aaron and Barbara on. So Justin Bolagnino, and he was talking to us about the future technologies, VR, and also our friends from Burning Man VR, James Andrews, Eddie Roberts, Simon Allen, Alana Campos, and there's so many more that I can't even begin to, well, I did begin. We had the guys from Twiddle on, Ari Fink's been on twice, the guys I'd mentioned, Dramarama, Chromio, Dave from Chromio was on, Jamu Green. We did the Bonnaroo show, was an amazing show with all our friends on there from Bonnaroo. I kind of mentioned those guys individually. Andy Gaddiel was on the show. Again, Stuart Copeland twice, once at his house, once online. Yes, closest I got to Cactus Ike. Yeah, closest I got to a Fish member. Well, I had Fish on very briefly, and the closest I got on was Mike's daughter and his wife. But, listen, not everybody wants to talk to me. They're afraid I know where all the bodies are buried. I mean, I would never embarrass anybody. I guess I did embarrass some people. Mike Dillon was on the show. Greg from Scrambled Greg from Pigeons Playing Ping Pong. We had the Goose guys on. We had the Jam Bass guys on. One Note at a Time on. The Sally Fratiani, William Duval, Greg Johnson, Steve Grannis, Laura Kimpton, actress, David Welker, artist, David Welker, another amazing artist on the show. James Casey, Wayne Jobson, our friend Noel Kassler has been our most watched show. If you haven't seen Noel's show, I highly recommend going back and watching them. The shows are, one show's over 100,000 views, 120,000 views, and the other one's popping up around 30, 40,000 views and that was last week. I just cannot believe the kind of integration. We went to my friend Pascal Giacomini's house and we jammed there. We did Farmer Dave, Claude Taylor, who's another great Twitter political mind that runs a Mad Dog Pack, Vance Powell, who produced Trey's albums and the new live album, Stevie Eichner, who did the great book about Limelight, In the Limelight. Jake Silko, another amazing photographer. Low Cut Connie, still one of my favorite artists. New artist that I met was Low Cut Connie. His new album is absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it. Nathan Moore, Adam Bauer, my friend Leon Robinson, Leslie Mendelson, Vince Herman, who wrote my theme song from Leftover Salmon. Joel Gallen, Neil Cohen, Benji Eisen, Hallen Rain, Paul Peck with the Tips crew. We had the Prince Street Pizza guys up on the show. They've been getting dragged through the online right now with their issues. Nito, the guys from Nito, it was really important to have them on to talk about what was going on and with the small theaters and these independent talent operators. John Schwartz was on the show. Dave Hogan, I talked about him, the Happy Monkey. We did the Turducken special, Cyber Monday shopping guide. You remember that? I was telling everybody what to buy. That was like the last weekend in November. I was telling everybody what to buy when they went shopping. Eric Krasno, Marcus and Todd Stoops, the Dude of Life. After the Dude of Life, that was the third, I kind of went to the Virgin Islands and dropped off the planet for 2 weeks. But I came back and did a St. John's Wish on the St. John's Wrap on the 21st. And then we did a couple other shows before Christmas. I did one show before New Year's because I had the Justin Bieber show, the couple times I've worked this year. And then this past week, Ari Fink, and we had the 420 party, and our friend Noel and our Billy from Lantern Farms. We're wrapping this up right now. Wow. 200 shows. It's a lot of guests. There's a lot of different people. So thanks to everybody that has been with us, that has, helped us do this, because it wasn't anything that I really kind of had an idea what the hell was going on. Okay, let's see here. We're going to pull up another interview here. Here's our friend Jerry. Well, another perk of my thing was becoming friends with Jerry Harrison, 226. No, that's not right. Let's do 2226. I'm not sure if this is the clip, but let's see how close I am.
There was a moment where it was almost like you were selling out if you released it anywhere other than on your own albums, but that sort of has gone away. And of course, also making money from recording music has also somewhat gone away. So if you can make money from it being in a TV show or a movie, great.
Yeah.
But it's helped keep us current. I also think that, I went back and I was always the one who would do the remastering if we had a greatest hits album. And Eric E.T. Thorngren and I remixed all the Talking Heads records in surround sound back in, I think, 2008, 9 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, the quote I was looking for from Jerry was where I said, what's it like to have to turn down $100 million because you can't get the guys all to play? It's kind of what it is. And, that's a rock and a hard place. And it's something we talked about with the guys from No Doubt and also with Jerry from the Talking Heads, was what it's like to be in a band. Then all of a sudden things stop. And you're like, everybody else in the band wants to get together except the singer. singer-songwriter. Same thing with No Doubt. Same thing with all of us. Always, hey, Jamie Nicholson, what is up? How you doing? Thank you for chirping in. And, of course, you don't have to guess. Everybody's like, Spafford? Yeah, I talked about all these guys. I talked about Krasno, Tom Marshall. Yes, I started that list way before you started turning in. Mark Chatone, the future of entertainment guy. Oh, boy. Vince was great. Vince Herman, he was great. Yeah, I can't believe I got called out on my little pepperonis on my Prince Street pizza. Well, you am what you am, right? That's pretty much what it is. But this was started as a fluke. This wasn't my intention. I assumed that we were going to be back to normal in a relatively short time, and that I would go back to doing my job and be too busy. Things would come up, work would come up, and the world couldn't live without me and my photography. But I learned the hard way that that's not necessarily true, that people don't really care. And when you go and you're gone, they're like, he was great, but he's gone. Next. So hopefully you'll leave a little legacy behind where you'll be remembered and they won't be doing it. I can't talk about football. One of my viewers yesterday was like, you lose me every time you talk about football. But yes, I'm not really excited for football because I doubt I'm going to the Super Bowl this year to shoot the halftime show. I think that they're going to have a skeleton crew in there and not include the entertainment photographers that have been going for decades, been going to the Super Bowl. And you know me, I don't mind a trip to Florida as long as you wear your mask everywhere you go. It's important. Now we're all switching around. See, one person. Depends where you're watching. I show 15, but then I'm also on Twitter and I'm on YouTube and I'm on thing. But it's not really live where you get the viewers. Later is when they all kind of tune in. I have some numbers. Since you're bringing up numbers, I have some numbers. You want to hear some numbers about what we're doing here at 420 Live? 420 Live has been going live since the 16th of 3 days after they named it. The 16th. That was the first video we saw today. This show has been viewed 537,834 times. I'll roll that out. We can roll it up to 538,000 times. I'll include the 15 people that are watching right now. So that absolutely incredible. I mean, if you think about it, yes, it's 197 shows, and 197 into 537 is 2,730. So that means the average amount of viewers that watch these shows is 2,700, let's say. So that's where we're at. So whatever it looks like when I'm live, it's later when things pick up heat. So that's why I'm always professional and coming to you like there's a million people watching, because you never know what's going to happen. All of a sudden something gets picked up. You go viral. Those Noel Castler shows, that's about as viral as you can go. But anyway, my most popular format is Facebook with almost 210,000 views. Behind that is IGTV with 113,000 views, Instagram television. And then we have YouTube, 87,000 views on YouTube, 73,000 views on Periscope. I mean, sure, a lot of that's Noel Castler. Noel Castler's probably out of 73,000 views for Periscope. Excuse me, 42,000 are for Noel. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, he's got a big following. And same thing, YouTube. Let's say YouTube, yes. I don't even think that YouTube number's right. 87,000. I think that's how many I have just watching his show. Anyway. Yeah, you were a little late today. Oh, there you go, Ike. Yeah, I get it. I've also changed the time. So, you were right there, Ike, all the way from the beginning when I was coming in at 7:20 p.m. And now I'm at one person complaining about football. Yeah, but that's what it is, because you're like, well, sports isn't really my wheelhouse anyway. So, I don't sit around. I don't have the ability, as you can see, I'm a little high strung. I don't have the ability to sit anywhere for 4 hours to watch anything. I mean, I'm good for like a quarter, maybe a half. Basketball, I have a little better attention span for because it's a little bit faster. I've always been more of a basketball fan than a football fan. Well, yeah, Jamie, but you know what? You brought me into my numbers. I had all those numbers ready to go, and I completely forgot that I was going to tell people that they're one of 500,000 people that have watched this show. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. I was just like, whoa, just, it's not like I'm doing anything here. Really? Am I? I mean, I'm smoking weed. And one thing I haven't done in a long time on the show is a rip out of my heady old school glass bong. Our friend Brian Raskin, we should mention our friend Brian Raskin. He was nice enough in the beginning to give us some tubes. He was starting a business, his tube business back up, because he'd been doing, lighting and glasses and stuff like that, gotten away from the bongs. And he was like, Kravitz, can you help me start to promote the heady old school glass? Well, let me tell you, now you can't even get Brian Raskin on the phone because he's got the witch doctor in Massachusetts selling his glass, and he's constantly pumping them out. But back in those days, he was offering them up. We did a couple contests and gave away some beautiful tubes to some people. One girl was smoking out of a soda can. So we elevated the situation. Biscotti. That was another thing I was doing in the early days. Coughing a lot. And also talking about the different strains I was smoking all the time. It was a more cannabis themed. I understand why I didn't get in the top podcast on Steve Bloom's Celeb Stoner, because I'm not really a podcast, I'm a webcast. And it's always not cannabis themed. I mean, if one thing, I've used this zone to try to entertain all the people that are out of their minds on cannabis. What was I talking about? If you want sports, go to SBN. That's right. Sports, this is not my wheelhouse. And there's enough people talking about sports. Hats off to the Barstool guys. The numbers are impressive. Yes, when I started adding them up, because, I would talk to certain guests. I talked to my friend Ben Baruch, and I'd say, hey, can I have this guy on? Ben was great about getting us Twiddle and getting us Goose. The Goose guys was a great interview too. But talking to people and be like, hey, can I have him? And they're like, well, how many people are watching your show? And if you look right now, you're seeing single digits. But if you add them all up over time, the number's kind of considerable. And it's kind of like, okay, this is what we've been doing here for the past. We have been keeping people at ease, helping people relax from the stress, and giving some people some alternate, new, fresh entertainment, kind of up on the day's events, or kind of where in the wheelhouse of the things I'm interested in. When I see most of my guests, and most of the things I'm talking about, they're things that are close to my heart. And I know we're all kind of on the same page here. We all love music. We all love cannabis and different kinds of drugs, psychedelics, whatever it is. We're all into the right, being on the right side. And I don't say that politically, but on the side of fairness and opportunity, and being inclusive to everybody. I've never been one to distinguish people based on skin color or religion. Although some of the religions these days are like, okay, I've never been a racist. It's never been in my blood. I mean, my dad, Pinky, was one of the most fair people I've ever seen in my life. He had friends of every creed and color growing up. It wasn't a thing where you would draw lines. I mean, I grew up in a very racist place. I know Atlantic City is incredibly racist. And I was talking to my kids the other day about some of the race riots that would happen in front of my high school. I remember growing up before I even went to high school. Can you imagine you drive by to high school and you see people throwing bricks and bottles across Albany Avenue, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go there to school in a couple of years. You're like, oh shit, I better pack a bag of bricks and bring them with me to the school. So anyway, it's been a pleasure coming to you guys and having something to do, having somewhere to focus. And I'm going to keep going. My plan is to keep going. I definitely want to get a diversionary trip in and do a little diving and go out of there. So I'm not going to say I'm going to be consistent between now and my 1 year anniversary, but I will be here as much as I possibly can, as long as I'm here in Los Angeles and not working. I'm not doing anything else. And I will come here and hang out with you guys, all 13 of you. But I do have a couple sponsors that I'm going to tell you guys about. Grady's Cold Brew, 420 Live code. You put the 420 Live code in to the little place where the code goes. You'll get 20% off your Grady's. I got a bag of Grady's right here. Imagine if this was Bud. That'd be a good half pound, right? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's about 4 ounces right there. Anyway, Grady's. You can drink it like this. Pull it down and drink it. Set it up. 36 cups in there. Cold Crip chicory, New Orleans style chicory coffee does not even need sugar. It's delicious. They'll send you the kit and you get 20% off. Very generous discount from our friends at Grady's Cold Brew. And the other thing that you can't live without is synthetic lawn. Let's face it. What, me worry? Kilroy was here. Synthetic lawn, environmentally friendly synthetic lawn, and sinlawn.com 420 live. That's a link. You could click that link and see what the news is. There's not a contest right now. You can't win your roll of Sinlawn. They did that already, and I haven't heard from anybody about the print. So I guess nobody from my team won. But get your Sinlawn synthetic lawn. Save the environment, especially you people out here in California where we have the drought. You know, you definitely want to do your part. From show one to now, but yes, pandemic's been treating me well. I've been staying on my plan, my intermittent fasting plan, my bulletproof coffee plan, which is just like a cup of nutrients every day that I drink and keeps me going and fuels me up. And now I finally started the exercise program. All-time favorite person band to shoot and teaching my craft. This is a great comment. Yes, 420 live. We're selling grass. Get your K2. What is the synthetic grass? Oh, Cartom or Kratom. Get your Kratom right here. Want some Kratom? My sponsor's going to love me. Holy crap. Comparing coffee to Bud and talking about this selling synthetic glass. I can get it for you wholesale. I can get you the grass wholesale. Synthetic lawn. My all-time favorite band to shoot. Oh, come on. I don't know. And yeah, I'd love to teach. You know, I wanted to go Lively and teach with Mark Brownstein and everybody. So I'm still waiting to hear how that's working out, because I think that'd be great to be able to do hangouts with people, do portfolio reviews. If anybody wants a lesson, come on in. I got you. You know, I'm not going to college. I don't want to teach. I'll do online 101, and people always have questions about cameras. I love that. They're like, hey, can I ask you a camera question? Do you think I should get the Canon EOS Rebel? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I use the best cameras there are, and I don't have opinions on anything except the top level. So thank you there, Donnie Ray Stewart Jr. Love you too, man. It's been absolutely incredulous, absolutely nuts. There's just so many things that have happened in the past 200 shows that it makes it hard for me to kind of even pull out highlights, because everything's a highlight. Every day, something going on, it's a highlight. My show yesterday, we were just rambling to everybody about what the hell was going on and crying about it all. Jesus, it was crazy. Anyway, what do I got? Tomorrow, our friend Pat Asante is going to be on the show. Patsy is going to come on the show. He's got a new short out called $22 Eggs, which is kind of like the mobster's guide to it's almost like a mobster's what's that show? Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. So we're going to have Patsy on the show Thursday. We're going to have our 200th celebration, a little party, a little celebration here. So make sure you roll up some fatties. And on Friday, we're going to have our friend Chef Royalty, Jared. He's from Denver. He cooks with cannabis. And I have some of his tincture here. Maybe we'll even do a couple drops of that. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody out there. I did the commercials, right? See what happens when you do a bong hit? I can't remember what I did. Happiness to everybody out there. Here's the hug. Oh, wow. It's up to you to take care of yourself and to take care of those around you that you love. So do the right thing. Don't be going out there and getting sick. Stay out of the bars. If you need to drink that Royalty, there he is. And Mark Joseph's going to be on the show too in a week or two. So Mark Chaldone, This is the future of entertainment. One love. Peace out, everybody. We will see you tomorrow for show 199 of Pat Asante. Jeff Kravitz.